And joining us now to tell us more about the value of exports to beef producers is Phil Seng. He's the president and CEO of the U.S. Meat Export Federation. Thanks so much for coming to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
It sounds like there's some exciting news for U.S. beef producers in terms of opportunities in the international markets. Give us some highlights.
Well, it's very good, very amazing news for us this year. Through the first 8 months of this year, we're up about 10% on a value basis, a little over 1% on a volume basis. That equates to about $255 per head for a fed steer. And also it's about 15% of our U.S. production that's now being exported. So you can see we've made dramatic gains over the last 10 years.
Real money and real value. What are some specific markets that are driving that growth?
Probably the chief market this year, the big locomotive of growth would be Japan. We're up about 50% in Japan this year over last year. Of course, the agreement to open the market up further to 30 months was initialed on February 1st of this year. So we're performing very, very well in Japan. Mexico also has been a very strong performing market for us, as well as Canada.
And you know, Phil, we put a lot of the issues behind us, the BSE issue clearly, and some of the trade barriers that we've dealt with, but there are still some challenges. Maybe you can speak to those.
Well, we have still some challenges even on the BSE front.
Yeah.
In China, the largest and probably definitely the fastest growing market internationally is the Chinese market, and that's still closed to us. The Australian market is closed to us. That's a market that we see as a primary competitor from the Meat Export Federation standpoint as we engage the Australians all over the world. And of course, Saudi Arabia has capriciously closed their market as a result of the last case here in the United States. So we still have some markets that we have to deal with. And of course, the Russian market closed to us on February 11th, and that extracted some pain as well.
And there are some additional trade agreements on the horizon. Maybe you could tell our viewers a little bit about those.
Well, I think probably the one that's the furthest along, there's been 19 different sets of negotiations, is the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That negotiation portends very well for us because Japan right now has a 38.5% duty. It's the world's third largest economy, and we see tremendous potentials in Japan as that duty would come down under the TPP scenario. TTIP, which is the European agreement, we see that where 40% of the world's GDP between the United States and Europe is involved in this, and so we see an opportunity in Europe as well, but probably Asia presents the most opportunity for us. And there's other markets that we have agreements in that we just have to further enforce in order to keep that going.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for all you do for beef producers in opening up these markets and creating opportunities for us.
It's our pleasure.
To learn more about the work of USMEF and U.S. beef exports, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.